New York, Eric Shawn, Fox News.
Eric, thank you, and thank you all for watching at home. That brings tonight's hunt for the killers to a close. We will see you again tomorrow night. I'm Lori Dew. Have a very good night.
The O'Reilly Factor from Southern California is on. Tonight, the New York Post calls the House of Representatives cowardly for closing down after the anthrax scare. We'll hear both sides of that explosive accusation. The city of Baltimore in chaos because of anthrax. We'll take you there. And in Cleveland, a high school student suspended for 10 days because he supports the war against terrorism. It's one of the most controversial stories we've seen in quite some time. Caution, you are about to enter a no-spin zone. The Factor begins in 90 seconds.
Fox News Live, I'm Kieran Chetry. House Democratic leader Dick Gephardt told House members that he was notified earlier today that a female staffer of Senate Majority Leader Tom Daschle has tested positive for exposure to anthrax, even though she was not in one of the two buildings where the anthrax was discovered. Gephardt says the woman may have been exposed by another Daschle staffer who came in contact with the bacteria. Daschle, however, is denying this, saying that no such exposure happened. More U.S. jets bombed the center of the Afghan capital, Kabul. For the first time in the air campaign, there are reports now that U.S. bombs killed a veteran of Osama bin Laden's al-Qaeda network. Traveling in China, President Bush warned the war may take more than 2 years. And Vice President Dick Cheney visited New York for the first time since September 11th. He attended a charity dinner tonight and offered some encouraging words.
We cannot deal with terror. It will not end in a treaty. There will be no peaceful coexistence, no negotiations, no summit, no joint communique with the terrorists. The struggle can only end with their complete and permanent destruction.
The Vice President saying he was deeply moved by the people working at Ground Zero. That's our update for now. O'Reilly Factor is coming up next here on Fox News.
Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly reporting tonight from the Nixon Library in Orange County, California. Thanks for watching us. I'm here for a no-spin zone book signing as our tour of California continues. And how the nation's largest state is reacting to the war is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Yes, the Berkeley City Council is nuts. Yes, there are people out here who refuse to acknowledge there is evil in the world. And yes, there are even some folks who don't know much about the terrorist attack because they're too busy rollerblading their lives away. But most Californians do know what's up. It's very apparent that even in liberal cities like San Francisco, people are getting even more determined as the sneak attacks by the terrorists continue. A few days ago, I stopped in the central coast town of Cambria, just a few miles south of the Hearst Castle. Cambria is home to quite a few hippies, counterculture folks. So I walk into an exotic oil shop past the beads hanging down at the front door and am immediately engulfed in a thick cloud of incense, tar music playing in the background. I select some kind of mysterious potion and proceed to the cash register. There, a young woman wearing a headband, pierced nose, a long flowing white dress, looks up at me. And I say, "What do you think should happen to this guy, bin Laden?" Her eyes open wide and she says, "Kill him." Okay. It's not about mindless vengeance. Americans of all kinds now realize the government must stop the terrorists from killing innocent people. There is a growing understanding, even among the most liberal in this country, that we're doing the right thing and the noble thing. And the more this sinks in, the stronger we will be and the better able to pay the price of victory. And it's just a matter of time until that victory happens. That's the memo. Now for the top story tonight. Take a look at this headline in today's New York Post. Wimps. The Post headline writers are talking about members of Congress who have shut down the House while it's being swept for anthrax. The Post believes they're being cowardly because other Americans continue to go to work. With us now in our New York studio is the Post associate editorial page editor, Robert George. Also in New York is Congressman Anthony Weiner, a Democrat from New York. So, Congressman, what do you think about the wimps tag?
Well, I'm going to kick those guys at the Post in the ass. I mean, we're not wimps, frankly, there are always yahoos out there who criticize Dick Cheney for not being around enough, criticize President Bush for not being on the ground at the White House earlier. What people don't seem to realize is that we have two jobs. One is in Washington, the other is in our districts. This morning, rather than being in Washington, I was at a classroom at PS 87 that overlooks, from Glendale, Queens, overlooks where the Twin Towers used to sit. I think I was doing my job pretty well by being there with those students and then getting on the phone and with a conference call to work out the anti-terrorism bill. The fact that we left town a day earlier so that they can allow the health officials to sweep the buildings for possibility of anthrax, I don't think makes us a wimps. I think it makes us responsible.
All right, but what about the valid point that other Americans have to go into the buildings and they have to do their work, and you guys are bailing out of the buildings after telling Americans, hey, don't respond to this fear, don't do anything, and then all of a sudden, you're gone.
That's 100% wrong. In fact, if there was, God forbid, an anthrax scare here in the Fox studios, I would insist that people cleared out for as long as it took for the health officials to make sure it was okay to go back in. That's what we're doing on the very large complex that employs over 20,000, many of them young people, on Capitol Hill. The Senate had an opportunity to get a jump on us because they, frankly, discovered this thing in the Senate buildings before the weekend. That's what they're doing there now, and I think it's the prudent thing to do no matter what building you're in.
So, Mr. George, how to reply to that? He thinks, Congressman Weiner thinks you're being unfair to him.
Well, we're going to do a best 2 out of 3 falls right here on the factor in a minute, Bill. Well, I mean, but as the congressman himself just pointed out, the Senate, Mr. Daschle's office got the largest amount of anthrax, and they stayed in for an extra day. We think that you're basically getting mixed messages from members of Congress, where on the one hand they say let's proceed business as usual, but then on the other hand they decide to say, okay, we're going to close down the House for a week. It just sends a mixed message to the American people and actually contributes to the fear.
How about the responsibility that not only the congressmen have, but the country has, to the people who assist Congressman Weiner and all the other congresspeople, you know, the young interns, the people in the mailroom, the secretaries and all of this? I mean, to ask them to come into a contaminated, possibly contaminated situation might be irresponsible.
Well, obviously, as the congressman said, usually the House will be in session from like Tuesday to Friday. You can close down the House, or they can go out of session and so forth. You can still do these things in terms of checking for the anthrax without making it look like they're scattering to the hills because they're afraid.
All right. Now, I understand the perception, but I think the reality is that they're being careful and cautious. Now, Congressman Weiner, your pal, Senator Schumer, who, by the way, promised me he'd come on the factor, and we're still waiting, your pal says that the House made the wrong decision. He agrees with Mr. George in the Post that you guys look like wimps. How do you answer Senator Schumer?
Well, Chuck's my predecessor, my mentor, and he's always right. In this particular case, look, this was a situation where we were all trying to work out the timing of the thing. Let's remember, the Senate had 2 extra days over the weekend to do checks of the heart
wait a minute.
building.
You're doing now. You're doing a cha-cha here now, Congressman. This is a no-spin zone. Schumer said directly you were wrong for doing it. You just said Schumer is always right. What's the deal?
Well, let me tell you, in the fullness of time, the same way many of us were quietly, in some editorial pages, were loudly critical of President Bush for not returning to the White House in those first fateful moments, later on in the fullness of time when the facts became clear, we learned that being prudent was probably the right thing to do. Being prudent is the right thing to do.
So you're saying that Schumer's wrong?
I'm saying, well, Mr. Schumer's obviously wrong in this case because I'm disagreeing with him.
All right, so he's not always right.
I know I was being facetious there. This is not a no facetious zone, is it?
No. You can be facetious if you want to be. But so you disagree with Schumer because Schumer is agreeing with Mr. George in the Post by saying the message that you send to Americans is not a message that is worthy at this point.
I trust that the leadership of the House, the bipartisan leadership of the House, in consultation with medical professionals, the Department of Defense, gave us the advice that they thought was in the best interest of those who not only members of Congress, but also the many thousands of people that work for us. And frankly, I think this is a non-issue.
Now, Mr. George, aren't you and your colleagues at the New York Post engaging in a little bit of jingoism here and a little bit of, with the big headline? Let's see the headline again. I love it. Wimps. I mean, aren't you exploiting the situation when it really isn't going to affect the country, whether Congressman Weiner is in his district or in Washington, and most people I believe most people would say, look, if you're going to err on the side of caution. We don't want the secretaries and the mailroom people and the interns being exposed to anthrax.
No, well,
aren't you guys exploiting the situation?
No, I don't think so, Bill. I mean, as we said on our editorial page, the American people are looking to Washington, looking to their leaders for leadership. And as I said, I don't think it's just a perception problem. I mean, I think it looks bad. I mean, to use the biggest cliche of the last 30 days, blank blank, the terrorist will have won if it looks like our leaders are in a sense fearful. I mean,
all right. So you want a more macho presentation?
Well, it's like this. We had our own scares within the post building this week as well. We had the Moon Men people coming in their garbs, checking the situation out. I understand that fear, but I think there are ways of doing this without having to shut our seat of government down.
All right. Gentlemen, always a pleasure to have you both on The Factor. Thanks very much. We appreciate it. And up next, another very bizarre story that has people running for cover. The city of Baltimore shutting down because of an anthrax scare. We'll be right back in a moment to tell you about that.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today.
I should have used Preparation H.
Preparation H medicated wipes with aloe, the easy way to cleanse, cool, and soothe. Easier because they're 4 times bigger than Tux pads. Preparation H medicated wipes, big relief.
The Last Castle is exciting, suspenseful, and heroic. It's the one movie to see. Now! Robert Redford, James Gandolfini. The Last Castle, rated R, starts tomorrow.
When I start each morning, when my kids need a playmate.
Prozac Weekly is here. Ask your doctor if it's right for you. For a limited time, you can try Prozac Weekly for 1 month free. Visit freemonth.webmd.com to learn more and print out your coupon from Prozac Weekly. Talk to your doctor today to see if Prozac Weekly could be right for you. Prozac Weekly is here.
Every car has its moment. This one has thousands per second. The new BMW 3 Series.
There's been some dramatic declines in the stock market in the last year. Historically, we have a decline of 10% or more about once every 2 years. That's the nature of the market. Even in good markets, we have declines. If you don't understand that, you're not going to be a good investor. Since World War II, we've had 9 recessions. Guess what? Corporate profits have gone up about 60-fold since World War II. The stock market's up over 60-fold. The stock market historically has been a very good place to be over every 20-year period. That's why you invest in the stock market.
In the Unresolved Problems segment tonight, are some people overreacting to the anthrax situation? Here's what Baltimore Mayor Martin O'Malley said yesterday.
We've received some very general, non-specific, unconfirmed information regarding an anthrax incident proposed to occur in Baltimore at approximately 1:15 p.m. this afternoon.
Well, after Mayor O'Malley said that, the city of Baltimore pretty much shut down. But at 1:15 yesterday afternoon, nothing happened. Now, the mayor, the police chief, the health commissioner, the dog catcher, and everybody else in Baltimore would not agree to come on The Factor to explain what the heck happened. Maybe they're still cowering. But joining us from Washington is Chip Franklin, a popular radio talk show host on WBAL in Baltimore. Well, Mr. Franklin, this is kind of embarrassing, is it not, for the city of Baltimore?
No, let's just say this. First of all, I think especially the listeners at BAL reflect, I mean, they're taking it in stride. The city itself, didn't go into chaos and didn't panic, but we are concerned about the issuance of a threat like this. It's an obvious concern, especially one that was so strange. 1:15, it's, you know what, we live close enough to Washington to know that there are kooks out there, and I think we dealt with it in stride.
Okay, but here's the problem. Businesses closed their air ducts, children in school paused, a class is stopped. I mean, everybody was on high alert. And then Mayor O'Malley and his crew don't really explain what this threat was, where it came from, and all of this. So it looks to me like there could have been an overreaction here. And if I'm wrong, I'd really like to know why I'm wrong. You know, don't you want more specifics about this?
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I think the mayor overreacted. In fact, the thing the mayor said that bothered most of us was the line, I don't know if you have the cut, where he said, "This is America, deal with it." And no, I'm not going to deal with fear. Let the terrorists deal with fear, not me. That bothered us.
And then, the problem, Mr. Franklin, is that if this starts to happen in all of the cities, the terrorists win another victory. If they can get to a mayor and the mayor comes out and says at 1:15, we're afraid there's going to be an attack, so everybody shut down and run away. But I'm saying, but if there was credible evidence, then the mayor has to do that to warn people. I don't like him running away. Did he go on your program, Mr. Franklin? Did he take calls from your listeners and from you?
No, we did take calls. We spoke about it. We didn't talk to the mayor on the air today. But let's just say this.
Shouldn't he do that?
I think that, first of all, I'm not the mayor, and it's a tough call. I think he made the wrong call here, but I'm glad I don't have to make the call. I would not have issued this threat, especially considering the White House and the security detail for Laura Bush must have been aware of the threat. They allowed her to come to a Baltimore neighborhood to read to kids early in the morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. So the First Lady was in Baltimore at the time the threat was issued?
Yes. Well, she might have left by 11:30 when the threat was actually issued. But they received the threat at 8:30. The FBI Baltimore office called the mayor's office at 8:30 in the morning. This according to the Baltimore Sun. Yeah. And so that's the information we have.
But here's the key issue here, Mr. Franklin, and you can give me your opinion on it. If the mayor of any city, either Baltimore, Detroit, or Denver, or Seattle, goes on and issues a warning that makes people nervous, and then nothing happens, shouldn't the mayor go on your program, go on my program, and explain exactly what happened? I don't like this running away business. I think this plays into the hands of terrorists. Our leaders have to stand up and explain things.
I don't know if running away is a fair characterization, to be honest with you. I do know that the media received a certain amount of pressure from City Hall to announce this threat. What it does is it sets the table for the next kook. And that's what bothers me.
That's exactly. But how can you defend this mayor, Mr. Franklin? We call this guy up. We say, you can come on the program. You can call us up. He doesn't want any part of it. No way am I going to explain to the national press what happened here. I just think that's terrible.
If you heard the 3 hours today on the show, you'd see I'm not defending the mayor. I am saying this, though, that being a mayor of a major American city now has changed a lot in the last 6 weeks. And maybe they're still trying to catch up.
No, maybe they are, Mr. Franklin, but they're our leaders, and I think they got to catch up fast. We appreciate you coming on, explaining the situation in Baltimore. Thank you. Coming next, what's really going on in Afghanistan as far as combat is concerned? We'll find out. And later, an outrageous story that may make you angry. A high school student suspended in Cleveland for supporting the war effort. You won't believe this one. Stick around. We'll be right back.
The American flag. It symbolizes freedom and justice for all mankind. Throughout the land, millions of Americans are proudly displaying the flag. Introducing the American Freedom Collection. A set of 2 quick display flags, one Old Glory flag and the exclusive God Bless America flag. Each flag is made of weatherproof, fade-resistant material. They attach to your car window in seconds. Just slide the slot in the window. It's that easy. It looks great on mailboxes, bikes, trucks, even inside your home. The American Freedom Collection also includes 4 reusable peel-in-place flags. There's no glue. Just peel off the flag and it'll cling to any smooth surface. Call now and receive your personal American Freedom pin. You get everything. The Old Glory flag, the God Bless America flag, the peel-in-place flags, and flag pin. The entire American Freedom Collection for just $14.99. Call now.
To order your American Freedom Collection for only $14.99 plus shipping, have your credit card or checkbook ready and call 1-800-203-4949.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Our air is trying to tell us something. ADM believes that for every problem, Nature has an answer. Ethanol, a cleaner burning fuel made from corn. It helps the air. It helps the farmers. And if we need more, we grow it. ADM, the nature of what's to come.
Our fundamental commitment to the financial well-being of every one of our investors, individually, has not changed. The prudent counsel of our financial advisors in over 500 offices across America, informed by our worldwide network of resources, has not changed. The strength and dedication of all of us at Morgan Stanley has not changed and will not change.
In 1 minute on The Factor, the latest on America's military action in Afghanistan, and then the most controversial story of the night, a high school junior suspended for 10 days for putting pro-war posters on his locker. Back in 60 seconds.
Most people can't tell you exactly what they paid for their car, but ask what the monthly payment is, and they know it to the penny. That's why so many people are taking advantage of the 0% financing currently available at all Ford dealers. You literally will save thousands of dollars in interest alone, but at Landmark Ford, you'll find something more. An incredible selection and knowledgeable professionals who will treat you courteously and with respect. So come see us at Landmark Ford in Tigard. We're just off I-5 at the Haines Street exit.
It's another great October classic. Bottom of the ninth. It all comes down to this for the Big Red Monster. Whoa! This could be it. These boys are showing no mercy. Get your big head out there. Move it! The WWF wins.
WWF No Mercy. October 21st on in-demand pay-per-view.
You are out of here!
In the Impact segment tonight, we're getting a lot of conflicting reports about the fighting going on in Afghanistan. Hopefully our next guest will sort it all out for us. Joining us from Washington is retired Army Major General Paul Vallely. Front page LA Times today, General. The Taliban has stalled the Northern Alliance and prevented them from taking a key northern town, a town that would be used for staging our helicopters and things like that. Number one, is that story true, and what do you think's going on?
Well, Bill, I don't think it's as much as a stall as it is that now we have everything in position. We've had the Kitty Hawk move in the Arabian Sea for a launching point for helicopter air assault operations to the, coming up from the south to the north. The Taliban has been really disseminated and disorganized, and I think the stories about defections are really true. We're now in a position here very shortly to let the Northern Alliance move south, what I call the march to Kabul. Mazar-e-Sharif, we hit two key places there, and it looks like the Northern Alliance secured two key terrain points around the airfield there. Bagram they already own, so we're only talking, you know, a matter of 24 hours before they can get down there and move on to take Kabul. So I think it's positioning, and I think it's a little political with the Pakistanis as well.
Sure, there's no question that that's why Secretary of State Powell went over there to set the stage for the taking of Kabul by the Northern Alliance. Now, where are the Army Rangers, the Special Forces right now? Are they inside Afghanistan? What are they doing?
Well, Bill, I'll tell you, we've had some reports that the Black Hawk helicopters have been in the Kandahar area. And as we said at the beginning of this thing, there are a lot of things going on that we won't know about days or weeks or even months later. And I wouldn't be surprised if we've had some of the commandos go in, the Rangers, Delta, Special Forces, and conduct what we call snatch operations. So I wouldn't doubt that we've already snatched some of those people up and probably have them in hiding somewhere questioning them. So those are the kinds of things that may be going on that we don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. And there was a report today out of London that Abu Basir al-Masari, a key lieutenant in al-Qaeda, was killed by a bomb in Afghanistan. That comes from an Islamic newspaper. Do you believe that the United States will suspend all military operations once Ramadan begins November 16th?
Well, Bill, I sure hope not. You remember back to the Tet Offensive, that's when we got attacked over in Vietnam and got surprised with a tremendous amount of force that came into Saigon. Now, if you look historically, Yes, we have to respect holidays, but listen, we've got a mission here. And we've got a mission to take out Al-Qaeda and bin Laden, no matter what holidays there are. So I don't think we'll disturb that. They'll make a big deal out of it over there, but we have to keep focused on what our mission is.
But shouldn't we be able to do that, though, General? Right. Shouldn't we be able to accomplish that task in a month? It seems to me, if what you're saying is true, that they're very close to taking Kabul and securing the country, and then these Taliban people run into the hills, we should be able to pretty much, you know, isolate these people by the time Ramadan rolls around.
Oh, absolutely. That's why the weather window bill, Ramadan, is very important. That's why I think it's eminent that the ground forces are going to make a big move very shortly here. And it has to be done because of those two reasons.
All right. Now, do you believe Americans, when they see that some of our military are going to be killed, will change their sentiment in this war?
No, I don't, Bill. I think the American people understand there's risk involved. We have the most highly trained military in the world. They know what to do and how to do it. There's always risk, of course, with casualties, but our soldiers and sailors and airmen, they know that going in. So they're prepared for that. But I can tell you the morale is high. They're ready to chase these guys down and take them out.
They're ready to go. I have had more military people come up to me here in California, General, and they're all saying, we're ready to go. And they, you know, this is personal. This is personal right now.
And
thanks, General. Always good to see you.
For the American people. Thanks, Bill. Pleasure to be here.
Okay, plenty more ahead as The Factor continues tonight from Southern California. A columnist in Chicago says giving aid to the Afghans hurts African-American children. We'll talk with her. And an unbelievable story outside of Cleveland. A high school junior is suspended for being pro-war. Right back.
Financing for 36 months on new Corollas, 4Runners, and Tundras for a limited time only.
Save by zero. Save by zero.
Want to try that triple Lutz?
What the heck? I got supplemental insurance.
What's that?
A Lutz?
No, that something insurance.
Even the best insurance doesn't give you cash for things like lost pay and other expenses. This does.
What does?
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
A crisis at home.
She snuck out.
An assassin at large.
We have reason to believe an attempt will be made on David Palmer's life.
For federal agent Jack Bauer.
The next 24 hours, I want you all over this.
It's going to be one hell of a day.
It's just one of those days when you don't want to wake up.
Find the shooter, Jack.
If you ever want to see your daughter again, get me out of this.
You have no idea what you're getting yourself into.
Kiefer Sutherland stars.
Who are you waiting for?
In 24. Premieres Tuesday, November 6th on Fox.
It's just one of those days.
Son, I think it's time we had that little talk.
Okay, Dad.
Well, I know it's kind of awkward, but you're old enough now, and it's time you learned about supply chain management. See, it's all about businesses sourcing materials and delivering products to market more efficiently. You follow?
Okay, so not everyone understands supply chain management, but we do. CNF. We straighten out supply chains for leading companies worldwide. CNF, where supply meets demand.
They were outnumbered.
We all knew that we were going to die.
Outmaneuvered.
They had roughly 120,000 people after us.
And nearly out of hope.
People's fingers and hands and arms and feet just rotting off.
For American soldiers, the fight for the frozen chosen became the bloodiest battle in Korea. It's a story of bravery, courage, and true sacrifice. Hear the chilling accounts behind the forgotten war from the men who can never forget. Join Oliver North for War Stories, a Fox News Channel special.
In the personal story segment tonight, the United States is spending $320 million in humanitarian aid to Afghanistan, hoping to feed the Afghan people, among other things. Reports say the Taliban government has confiscated a lot of that food so far that we've dropped. In Chicago, Sun-Times columnist Mary Mitchell wrote that our leaders may be hypocritical in giving all this money in aid to Afghanistan. She joins us now from the Windy City. Ms. Mitchell, what say you about this?
Well, as I pointed out in my recent column, one of the problems with dropping bombs and then dropping food and the reason why I see it as hypocritical, is that this is the same country that passed welfare reform, and under welfare reform rules, really, these agencies don't have a problem taking food out of the mouths of children here if their parents are not doing what they're supposed to do. So to me, it seems that to drop millions of dollars of food on an quote-unquote enemy at the same time that you're not showing that kind of compassion for children, and not the parents who are not doing what they're supposed to do, but for children, is hypocritical.
All right. Now, I mean, I have a couple of problems with your thesis anyway, but let's take it one by one. We're doing this, we're fighting a war, and we're dropping the aid as a propaganda tool to show the rest of the world that we're not trying to brutalize the Afghan people. We're just after their corrupt and dishonest government.
Right.
So, I mean, in propaganda terms, this seems to be a good strategy in the war we're fighting. Would you agree with that?
I would say that when it comes to and I guess I'm kind of puzzled because I thought I was sitting in the no-spin zone. The problem with propaganda is that, yeah, it shows America for what it is, that we will do whatever we have to do to meet our own ends. But for some people, and these are poor people, and these are people who are affected by the policies and the social policies of this country. They haven't gone down to understand the foreign policy and the propaganda. All they know is that they didn't fill out the proper form, and they're not getting the food stamps, and they got kids at home.
I get your point. I get what you're saying. But it looks like a good strategy for America to win the war against terrorism, to give food to these poor Afghans. Now, let's get to your social agenda, which I feel sorry for poor kids, I really do. But I think you're naive, Miss Mitchell, in thinking that welfare money gets to them. Because as you know, let me finish, okay. Then you can reply, okay?
All right.
As you know, every study has shown that the majority of people on welfare have substance abuse problems, and much of the money that is put in their hands unsupervised goes to feed their habits. It doesn't go to the children. So to try to make it like the United States government is taking food out of the matter of poor children is, I think, a little bit distorted. Go ahead.
Well, I don't think so, but let me go back to the study, and I haven't seen the study about the majority of people. I would disagree that the majority of people on welfare have substance abuse problems. Someone would have to show me those figures and show me how they came about it. I think the problem here is that when we talk about America's compassion and conservative compassion and what that is all about, the bottom line is America's looking out its own interests, and it has nothing to do with compassion, and that's why I feel that it is hypocritical.
Yeah, but, you know, America looking out for its own interests is looking out for your interests, Ms. Mitchell, because you're an American.
That's true. I wouldn't be anything other than an American, but I think that even in America we can have dissent, and we can look at America's policies, even during a time of war as we are now, and examine those policies and point out what appears to be hypocritical.
All right. No, and I respect your opinion, but I don't agree with it in the sense that I think welfare reform was desperately needed because it created an underclass that felt that they could get by without working. And those poor children of those parents, I'm with you on that. But we have school lunch programs, we have food stamps, we have a lot of social services.
Right.
I don't believe any kids are starving to death. I know they're not starving to death. I'll give you the last word.
I'm not saying starving to death. But in a country that has the vast resources we have, we can't compare ourselves to Afghanistan where they are starving to death. I find it very disparaging that in our country, where people have the money and have the resources, that any kid should be hungry. And don't get me wrong here. I believe that there was a great need for welfare reform. A great need for welfare reform.
It's their parents' fault that they're hungry.
But see, well then I feel like it's in Afghanistan, it's the Afghanistan's people's fault that the Taliban have taken over, and we run around hunting on Osama bin Laden.
I'm with you there, and all of this is a war strategy. We appreciate your time very much, madam, as always.
Thank you.
And next, we'll be back with the most controversial story of the evening. Please stay tuned.
I'm Kiran Chetri. Not far from Ground Zero in New York City, 4 disciples of Osama bin Laden get a life sentence without parole for the 1998 U.S. embassy bombings in Africa.
Life without parole. That's the sentence for 4 convicted terrorists who carried out the bombings of the American embassies in Africa 3 years ago. Here in the heavily guarded courtroom just blocks from Ground Zero, the 4 terrorists, the first members of Al-Qaeda, who were convicted of carrying out Osama bin Laden's orders to kill Americans. They are Kaufman Mohammed, 28 years old. Mohammed Rashid Dawad Alawawi, he's 24 years old. Mohammed Sadiq Oda, 36. He admitted he was a member of Al-Qaeda, said he was innocent. Also claiming innocence, Wahid El-Hajj. He's 41 years old. El-Hajj from Arlington, Texas, a U.S. citizen, married with 7 children. He was described as the personal secretary to bin Laden. In court, he read a 30-minute statement in English denouncing terrorism, denouncing the attacks on September 11th. One of the indicted suspects who remains at large, Osama bin Laden. At federal court in Manhattan, Eric Shawn, Fox News.
And Vice President Dick Cheney takes a spotlight in New York at a charity dinner tonight. He said, quote, "The struggle will end with the terrorists' complete and permanent destruction." That is our update. We'll be back again for you at the top of the hour here on Fox News.
In and out. Good. Keep the victim calm.
And 1, and 2, and 3.
Okay, there you go. That's over 100 channels, sports, news, digital music. Installation's free, and it's only $31.99 a month.
Just $31.99 a month gets you over 100 channels of DirecTV programming. Right now with free professional installation.
So it was the digital music that... Yeah.
Are you near a phone? Can you take down a number? Then call to find out about term life insurance at competitive rates from a respected insurer, Protective Life Insurance Company. A 35-year-old could get a $200,000 policy for less than $14 a month. A 40-year-old could get a $250,000 policy for less than $18 a month. For your free quote, call now. Matrix Direct, 1-800-728-3117.
Schultz never knew there were tunnels.
He didn't want to know, but you're missing the point of the story. A young entrepreneur engrossed in a Hogan's Heroes marathon neglects to ship an important package.
Did he know about the radio and the coffee pot?
He knew nothing. Now focus. Like a swallow returning to Capistrano, he instinctively heads to FedEx. They give his small business package the big business treatment, and another hobgoblin of success falls victim to FedEx efficiency.
What is a hobgoblin?
A gnome. A mean, angry gnome.
The compact Presario 5000T has something for everyone. For film buffs, a free DVD drive. For music buffs, a free CDRW drive. For technology buffs, a powerful Intel Pentium 4 processor. Yeah, it's a buff PC, all right. And it's just $899. That's for all you financial buffs. Call 1-800-332-1780 to buy now and upgrade to a DVD or CDRW drive free. Plus, get free shipping.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly reporting from Southern California in the second personal story segment tonight. 16-year-old Aaron Pettit believes waging war against terrorism is the right thing to do. Aaron, a junior at Fairview Park High School outside of Cleveland, has an older sister who was injured in the World Trade Center attack. So he posted pro-war sentiments on his locker that didn't sit very well with the principal, who suspended Aaron for 10 days. Now the whole thing's in litigation. Joining us now from Cleveland is Aaron Pettit and his attorney, Avery Friedman. I have to tell everybody watching today that Nayla Jean McDaniel, Dr. Nayla Jean McDaniel, who the superintendent of Fairview Park Schools, was up until about an hour ago booked on this program. She called us and canceled, which I believe is terribly irresponsible, not only because she isn't putting forth her point of view, is that we have a program to put on here, and she knew by doing that she was really hurting us because we can't make an adjustment at that late period of time. And a terrible example to set, Dr. McDaniel, for your students. You should honor your commitments, and I'm scolding you right now. All right, Aaron, tell us what happened to you. Tell us from the beginning. Walk us through it.
Well, about 1 and 2 days after the attack on September 11th, I put up a bunch of patriotic posters on my locker, including an eagle with a tear in its eye and a burning trade towers in the corner, an American flag, and those had actually stayed on my locker. Those were never touched. The ones that the school did seem to have a problem with were the American bomber squadron with United American Airlines symbols on their tails. And under it I had written slogans like "Good Morning Afghan," "Flight 93, you will never be forgotten," and "May God have mercy because we will not."
Well, now, why did you do this? Were you trying to rally other students to your cause, or what was the motivation behind the display?
I just wanted to show people how I felt about the situation. put the American flag, the eagle, and the bombers, just things that I felt we should handle.
Was this motivated by your sister being injured in the attack?
That, among many other things.
Now, who confronted you first about your display?
I was never actually confronted. About 3 weeks after I put up the posters originally, they were just ripped off my locker, and I had a note on my locker to go see the assistant principal.
Who ripped them off?
I'm assuming either the principal or the assistant principal, because that's where the note was to.
Okay, so a note, the display, the military display was gone, and then it was to see the assistant principal. All right, so you go in, you see them. What do they say?
He calls my parents, he calls my mom actually, and he tells us both that he takes it as a personal offense, and it's pointing the finger at Middle Eastern students in the school, and it's an attempt to cause trouble.
Is this the assistant principal? What's his name?
Mr. Hotelli.
All right, so this is the assistant principal who's in charge of discipline in most schools. He says that it's offensive to Middle Eastern students, divisive, and then he tells your mother what? That you're going to be suspended, or what was the deal?
I hadn't found out I was being suspended yet, actually. I was just told that there was going to be talks of how it was going to be handled, and I was sent back to class.
All right, then where did the suspension pop up?
I was called down later that day into the principal's office to be told that I was being suspended for this.
Now, did you give them any lip? Were you mouthing off? Was there any other reason why you would have been suspended?
No, it was just all because of the posters.
Really? Mm-hmm. And what did you say when they told you you were suspended for 10 days? That's a long time to miss.
I was shocked. I was incredibly shocked because I didn't think I had done anything wrong.
Did you say, hey, this is a violation of my freedom of speech? Did you try to defend it?
I was trying to defend myself. I didn't know all the wording. I just knew that was wrong and that they shouldn't be allowed to do this.
All right. Now, Counselor, that's where you step in, right?
Right, I know the words.
Aaron's parents contacted you, and what exactly did you do?
Well, we examined what Fairview High School did with Aaron, and we determined that it violated the 14th Amendment, the Due Process Clause, no notice or hearing, and it also violated the First Amendment, his freedom of speech. And after we gave the superintendent and the principal the opportunity to change their mind without going to a federal courtroom, they refused, and I mean very directly they refused. And by the end of the day, we were in a U.S. District courtroom, and by the end of that day, a federal district judge enjoined the school district, the principal and the superintendent, from keeping Aaron out of school. In other words, the federal judge sent him back to school, determining that there was a violation of the Constitution.
All right, so Aaron missed 2 days of school, and then a federal judge ordered him back in. What about the posters that were taken down?
The posters haven't been replaced. The objective of the hearing was to get Aaron back in school. The issue of putting posters up, frankly, was really moot because more people have seen the posters because of this controversy than Aaron could have ever dreamt.
Sure. All right, so you're not contesting his freedom of speech anymore. You're not trying to get to school to...
No. We're still going to trial on this case. And it will,
Are you really?
Oh, yeah. It will be in front of a jury at a federal courtroom on the extent to which this school district and this principal and this superintendent violated both the First and 14th Amendment to the Constitution.
Are you asking for damages, money?
The court has the authority to grant damages, but the family has made a decision that if damages are to be granted, funds will go to the relief fund in New York City.
Well, very good. All right, Aaron, now what's been the reaction of your friends and your teachers inside the school?
My first day back, many of the teachers walked up to me, congratulated me, shook my hand, told me that they were proud of me, that I was doing a good job. All the students were 100% behind me. I didn't get one negative comment from any student.
Really? Not from any of the Middle Eastern students or anybody who was supposed to be alienated by this? Nobody said anything to you?
That's the thing about it. Most of my Arabic friends liked the posters. They wanted copies of the posters. They had no problem with the posters whatsoever.
All right, so according to you, there's no resentment toward you at all. You're kind of a hero in at school.
I wouldn't say hero, but nobody
Well,
had
this
a
can't
problem.
hurt your social life, Aaron. I mean, come on, capitalize on this. All right, Counselor, here's one last question for you. Is this political correctness run amok again? Is that what this is?
You know, Bill, that's an understatement. To assume that just because you're Arab American, you're somehow pro-Taliban is the foundation behind this judgment. It is outrageous. And until people understand that there's freedom of speech, including high school principals and superintendents, that's what the federal courts are there for.
All right, Councilor Aaron, thanks very much. And when we come back from Southern California, Saudi Arabia, is it our friend or our enemy? In a moment.
Honey, the one thing I need you to do today is open an Ameritrade account. Okay?
You know, he is a big boy. 6'8", 293. Ooh, we got a player down on the field, number 81, Paul Norris.
Firmer thighs, abs, and glutes.
Then, during the Woodrow Wilson administration.
There's something out in the back. I can hear
Hi, honey. Did you do it?
Yeah. Open a cash account and get a free 6-month premium membership to Morningstar.com. Some restrictions apply. Call 1-800-AMERITRADE.
2 minutes from now on The Factor, the unholy alliance between an American ally and bin Laden. We'll tell you what Saudi Arabia is doing to prop up bin Laden's terror. That's just 2 minutes away as The Factor continues from Southern California.
Hi, I'm Rick from Empire Glass. Let Empire Glass replace your cracked windshield and will now pay up to $100 of your comprehensive insurance deductible. And will now give you 24 free dinners to Sherry's, the Northwest's #1 family restaurant and bakery, with any windshield replacement. So for the highest in quality windshields, including up to $100 off your comprehensive deductible and 24 free dinners to Sherry's, call Empire Glass today at 251-9881. When you think glass, think Empire.
Come to the New Balance store. 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 You fit right in. Come to the New Balance store. You fit right in. Come to the New Balance store. You fit right in. You fit right in.
Downtown Portland.
I'm not talking to you.
Now families can enjoy the ultimate web experience and use the phone line at the same time.
Hold on a sec. Don't you get it?
I think she's in love. Introducing Quest Connected Home. It's your home phone line with tons of great features, plus unlimited MSN broadband powered by Quest for just $72.90 a month. Now even get free activation, a $99 value. This is staying connected. This is riding the light. Quest.
When you're looking to buy or sell a home, it's important to keep in touch with the local market. That's why you should tune in to the Coldwell Banker Barbara Seal Properties Tour of Homes show. You'll find local listings in a variety of shapes, sizes, and price ranges. And at Coldwell Banker, you'll find real estate professionals who work to achieve the perfect balance of needs for their clients. Look to the Coldwell Banker Tour of Homes show 7 days a week only on TV Mart, AT&T Cable Channel 15. Let us help you find your dream home.
In the back of the book segment tonight, 2 weeks ago, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia took out a full-page ad in the New York Times. It cost about $100,000. In that ad, the Saudi leadership expressed sorrow over the deaths of Americans in the terror attack and pledged undying friendship to the USA. But behind the scenes, that friendship could be a little dubious. Joining us now from Boston is Jonathan Wells, investigative editor at the Boston Herald newspaper. Mr. Wells, what did you find out about Saudi Arabia?
Well, we found out that that despite their protestations that they are our greatest friend, that there seem to be sort of back-channel activities involving charitable organizations, banks, and other financial institutions in which there was involvement in those. Well, first of all, I should say that these banks were identified by one of bin Laden's own people as under the control of Osama bin Laden at a certain point in the mid-'90s. Apparently gave $50 million to capitalize one of these banks. Well, we looked at it and we found that there were involvement of other rich Saudis in these banks during those years, including a member of the royal family. So it suggests that that whilst the Saudi royal family and the government is publicly stating that they are not supporting Osama bin Laden in any fashion, that perhaps they are in a back-channel way.
All right. Now, how do these banks in Saudi Arabia, and we might tell the audience that the United States is not getting cooperation right now from the Saudi government to freeze certain bank accounts. President Bush, of course, wants to freeze all of the bank accounts that Osama bin Laden and al-Qaeda might have access to, and the Saudis are not being cooperative in that regard. But how do these banks in Riyadh help Osama bin Laden?
Well, it could be in different ways, and a lot of this information on financial transactions is kind of sketchy because there's not much transparency in these banks. The three particular banks that we looked at were actually in the Sudan. They operate in other Arab countries as well. But what it appears is you find that that they're channeling money to support the travel for al-Qaeda members, the purchase of weapons, and this was testified to in federal court by one of the al-Qaeda people. And then you look at the boards of directors, and you find some of these very wealthy. I mean, we're talking about billionaires here in Saudi Arabia who are involved in these banks, and some really large banking conglomerates are involved with these banks as well.
Do they own the banks in the Sudan?
Do they at present? I can't tell you.
But they've had involvement in those banks?
Yeah, well, some of these Saudi princes and some of these Saudi businessmen still have interest in these banks. The banks, these particular banks, the central bank in all of this, the Al Shamal Bank, has put out a statement on their website saying that Osama bin Laden never had a financial interest in this bank, and of course, they go on to say that, well, two of his companies did have accounts here, and so they hedge a little bit.
But you're not buying it. You're not buying it. You think that these things were, giving money to bin Laden and his pals to move all over the world.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to ask you is this: the United States can't do anything to Saudi Arabia because we need their oil. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, we buy about 1.5 million barrels of oil from the Saudis every day.
Every day.
That accounts for almost a quarter of all the oil we import worldwide.
Yeah.
There's a long...
So they can thumb their nose at us. They can do whatever they want to do over there, and we can't say a word.
Well, I think what happened in New York with Rudy Giuliani really illustrates the relationship between the two countries. That prince who gave Giuliani the check for $10 million as he had another aide at Ground Zero passing out inflammatory press release suggesting we brought it on ourselves because of our policy in Israel. That's how the Saudis have operated. They've used their clout, their oil money, and they've used it to influence our foreign policy, and that's been going on for decades.
Right. Mr. Wells, I think we all got the picture. We thank you very much for your expertise. And next, we'll wrap things up with the most ridiculous item of the day and some of your mail.
Good. Keep the victim calm.
And 1, and 2, and 3. Okay, there you go. That's over 100 channels, sports, news, digital music. Installation's free, and it's only $31.99 a month.
Just $31.99 a month gets you over 100 channels of DirecTV programming. Right now with free professional installation.
So it was the digital music that... Yeah.
These little town blues are melting away. We'll make a brand new start of it in old New York. If we can make it there, we'll make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York.
Come to Broadway and let's go on with the show.
Great. Credit card bill. Wonder what's in here this time. Look at these fees.
What's that, hon? One rate for purchases? A higher rate rate for cash advances. And those telemarketers.
Relax. We switched to Capital One's new no-hassle card.
Capital One.
Introducing Capital One's new no-hassle Platinum Card. No balance transfer fees and no telemarketing, plus one low fixed rate on everything from purchases to cash advances. Check your mailbox today and get Capital One's new no-hassle Platinum Card for one low rate and none of the hassle.
Honey? You okay?
What's in your wallet?
The Political Pulse, the war on terror. From the nation's capital, our Team Washington, with breaking news, exclusive interviews, and live updates. Special report with Britt Hume. Tonight,
we'll strengthen the economic ties.
Promoting free trade, economic world recovery, and support against terror. Bush meets with APEC. Catch Special Report with Britt Hume. Tonight at 1, Jack Welch on GE's future and the changing economy in the wake of terror. Then at 2, views from the left and right as America strikes back.
Time now for the most ridiculous item of the day. After just 48 hours, the No Spin Zone book is already number 4 on Amazon.com. Again, I really appreciate you guys making that happen. Now, what we're going to do next week is to give some signed copies of the No Spin Zone away to viewers who write emails to us. Because we don't want to be ridiculous, we can only do this one day a week. We'll alternate the days, so it's kind of a luck of the draw situation. But every viewer whose email is selected on the chosen day will get a signed No Spin Zone book. We'll do that until Christmas, just a small way that I can thank you for supporting both the Factor book and the No Spin Zone. I really appreciate it. It's stunning. Finally tonight, the mail. Dr. Bill Kimball, America's Georgia. Bill, I was disappointed that Fox News requested no letters in the mail until this bioterrorism is over. Fox is acting like scared little rabbits. Oh, come on, doctor. Give me a break. I'm just trying to take a little heat off the mailroom. That's what's going on here. Emails are still pouring in. Kevin Mills, Winchester, Indiana. Bill, why must you make the anthrax story bigger than it is? You thrive on scaring people. Halloween isn't until October 31st. Well, Mr. Mills, I find it impossible to believe that I, your humble correspondent, could scare anyone. The anthrax story is a big, big situation. Ronnie Shires, Atlanta. I worry that our government, in their attempt to stop any panic, may be giving us a false sense of security. Well, Mr. Shires, stop worrying. There's nothing you can do about any of this. Herb Mueller, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Bill, you are beating the drum for the connection of anthrax and the terrorists. You have no evidence. Deductive reasoning, Mr. Mueller, but I could be wrong. About my debate with Dean Stanley Fish, who refuses to call the terrorists evil. Con Creos, Melbourne, Australia. Bill, Dean Fish cleaned your clock. He was simply saying that we must ask why. Only then can we minimize future attacks. You are too narrow-minded to understand. Patty McDougall, Nanakuli, Hawaii. O'Reilly, moral is right, immoral is wrong. So what if we get behind the term evildoers? Mr. Fish can't understand what you are trying to do, Bill, but I can. Jason Wilson, Asheville, North Carolina. Bill, I listened to the debate over evil between you and Dean Fish very carefully. You both made strong points. I realize you both were right. About the Berkeley City Council, Joe Thornhill, Berkeley, California. O'Reilly, you asked the mayor who elects these lunatics to the Berkeley City Council. It's the university students. There are tens of thousands of them voting without consequences to themselves. We residents are left with a disaster. Maya Eisenman, Berkeley. I am a fourth-year student at the university, and I'm counting the days to graduation. I can't wait to get the heck out of this anti-American, anti-common sense town. Gene Kelly, Muskogee, Oklahoma. Mr. O'Reilly, please pray for wisdom and humility. I will, Gene. Thank you. Bob Durio, Los Angeles. Bill, why can't you resist the temptation to move your jaws endlessly? Mr. Durio, I am praying that temptation will go away. George Reynolds, Frostburg, Maryland. Mr. O'Reilly, I attend the State University here and would like to thank you for recognizing the problem with higher education. It's sickening to hear my professors talk about how we should compromise with the terrorists. I wonder if I'm the only one with any common sense here. Matthew Carlson, Ames, Iowa. I'm a journalism student at Iowa State, and I'm putting the no spin zone philosophy to work. It has really strengthened my articles. Well, I appreciate that, Matthew. Keep that writing going. And also, check in with our website, because my column this week is for worldnetdaily.com, is about the underlying thought process of people who are trying to undermine our war effort. I think you'll like it. www.foxnews.com/O'Reilly. All kinds of stuff on the website, as you probably know. And how about emailing us with some pithy comments? O'Reilly@foxnews.com, O'Reilly@foxnews.com. Name and town, keep it pithy, and we appreciate you writing us. Now, one final word. We're here at the Nixon Library in Yorba Linda, California, in Orange County. It is a beautiful library. I had been here twice before. We came today just as a tourist. If you don't have to like Richard Nixon to come here.